Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beauty Y'all, a beauty podcast where we talk about skincare, makeup, and everything in between. I'm Sarah, your beauty host and licensed esthetician. Let's talk about one of the most intimidating services on the menu, the Brazilian wax. If you've been thinking about it, you booked one and you're quietly panicking, or just want to know what really happens, this one is for you. We're diving into everything today. The pros and cons, how to prep, how to get through the pain, what to expect during your appointment, and how to care for your skin afterwards. And of course, I'm going to share a little tip that always makes it easier for me or my clients. Spoiler alert, it involves rewarding yourself. But let's start off with the pros and cons. Is this service worth it for you? The pros of the Brazilian wax. 1. Long-lasting smoothness. For me, if I shave this area, I would have to shave it realistically every day, every 24 hours. The way my hair grows, it's so fast, it's so thick, it's so dark. If I really wanted a completely smooth surface, I would have to shave every day. With waxing, you don't have to worry about it. You can do it I get my Brazilian done every 4 weeks. So for at least 2.5 to 3 weeks, I don't have to worry about it at all. So that's definitely a pro. Another thing about getting waxed regularly is that you're going to experience less irritation and fewer ingrown hairs, especially over time. When you are removing the hair from the root of the follicle, you're going to notice that the hair is going to thin out. It's not going to get that itchy, red, bumpy after effect that you experience with razors. And so even though it can be a little bit painful in the moment, the after effects are so worth it. And of course, a pro for this service is it's a confidence boost, right? It's something that you don't have to worry about. You're not trying to blindly use a razor down there. Someone else is taking care of it for you. So you kind of get another pair of eyes, another pair of hands that is going to ensure that you have the smoothest service possible. But let's talk about the cons. 1, it can be uncomfortable, especially for your first time. And when I say uncomfortable, I mean it's a pain. Now, what I will say, it's a quick pain. When we rip that wax off, you're realistically going to experience about 1 to 2 seconds of a sting. It kind of feels almost like a bee sting in an area. Like I might kind of compare it to that. And after that, it's done. So it is definitely like an exhale out and then you keep moving. I will say that first wax, the first Brazilian wax, is the one that hurts the most. But as you continue to do it, it does get a lot easier. Number 2, it can feel vulnerable. So you do kind of have to know that, of course, you are not going to have pants on. So knowing that you're going in to someone for the first time, whether you know them or not, right, you're going to be kind of exposed in that way. So you kind of have to ask yourself, what's your level of comfortability? And another thing with Brazilians is that you do have to keep up with it. Clients normally come back anywhere every 4 to 6 weeks. That's pretty average. If you're going to commit to it, you know that you're going to be in that appointment every 4 weeks. So is it worth it for you? I say if you're tired of shaving, if you are someone who experiences insane ingrown hairs, or you just kind of love the idea of low maintenance and someone else taking care of it, it's definitely worth trying. Again, just know that the first wax is always the hardest, but it does get better every time. And with the Brazilian service, there's actually different tiers you can get. If you do not feel brave enough to get the full Brazilian, which includes nearly all the hair, including the backside, try a bikini wax. The bikini wax is anything that you might see if you're wearing just a basic bikini bottom. So that includes, the inner thighs, right underneath the belly button. Sometimes estheticians will include the stomach strip. That's a really good place to start if you're feeling like, I don't know if I want to commit to the whole thing. Start there. And then maybe your next service, you do the extended bikini, which is you go in just a little bit more. So you can kind of measure out what works for you and what makes you feel the most confident. Now let's talk about how to find the right salon. Please Don't book a Brazilian without researching the salon first. Make sure the esthetician is licensed and experienced in this service. That's why licensing exists, guys. It's to make sure that there is some form of accountability with your service provider. Read the reviews of the spa. Look for people who mention comfort, professionalism, and overall good vibes. Once you have found the right salon, let's talk about your pre-wax preparation. So you want to set yourself up for success. This is huge. Prepping properly is what's going to actually make or break your experience. 1. The biggest thing, hair needs to be at least 1/4 of an inch long. That's typically about the size of a grain of rice. Do not trim too close. I've had clients and they didn't mean to and they didn't know. But what they did was they came for their first Brazilian and they said, "Don't worry, like I trimmed for you." And they meant it in good spirits, but that actually just made it made my job just a little bit more difficult, and it actually is going to make their experience more painful. And they didn't know because they're thinking, I want to help you out here and get this, I don't want to come in with a bush. I feel embarrassed about that. But your esthetician actually would rather you have longer hair than too short of hair. If the hair is not long enough, that wax is not going to have a lot to grip on, and so it's going to be more painful. So just make sure your hair is about the size of a grain of rice. If you can grab the hair with your fingertips, like in between your nail, that's a fine length. Gently exfoliate the day before. Don't do it the day of. We want soft skin, but not raw skin. Bonus points if you even exfoliate 2 to 3 times a week a few weeks before. Skip the caffeine or any kind of alcohol the day of your appointment. That's going to make you feel more sensitive. You can take an ibuprofen 30 to 45 minutes before your appointment. And be sure you're wearing loose, breathable clothing. So either cotton underwear, joggers. I have like a sundress, a maxi dress that I call my appointment dress. And that's just the outfit I wear when I know I'm going in for services. Let's talk about communication. Let your esthetician know if it's your first time, because you're probably feeling nervous. You want to have an open dialogue with that esthetician. If anyone comes into my room and says, like, I am nervous, I feel scared, one, that mentally preps me as the service provider to know, okay, we're going to use gentle language, maybe I'll talk through with them, your service provider, your esthetician is always kind of looking at your body language, right? Like it will go from there. But if you're openly communicating, I think I would appreciate that as your esthetician, because then I know, okay, maybe I'll do smaller sections, maybe we'll try some breathing exercises and that will help as well. You're not being dramatic. You're being a great client and we appreciate that. I think the number one question people kind of ask either before or during the service is, how bad is the pain? I mean, again, it's not nothing. It's that quick sting followed by, okay, wasn't so bad. Those first few strips are the worst, but again, it gets easier as you go. With each appointment, that hair comes in softer and sparser. So again, your pain tips, take that ibuprofen. Breathe deeply. Try to relax your body. Tensing makes it worse. If you try and hold your breath, that is going to send your body into fight or flight mode. So I'll even have people breathe for me. I'll pull the strip on their exhale, because if you pull the strip on their inhale, it dysregulates the nervous system, right? So your esthetician wants to work with you. Avoid scheduling too close to your period. The skin is more sensitive, and of course, it's just more annoying. You can get waxed on your period, totally possible. Every single day, if I have Brazilians, I will wax someone on their period. It's not the end of the world, but who wants to get waxed when you're bleeding, right? So try and schedule it 2 weeks after your period is done. And chat with your esthetician to distract yourself. Again, we're great at talking you through it, whether you want to talk about the service or you want to talk about literally anything else. Here's my tip. I love planning a treat afterwards. Whether it's a fancy iced coffee, your favorite snack, think of it as a prize. You just did a hard thing. Celebrate it. So even as you're going through the pain, holy smokes, well, at least I get to, try the new dessert place after this, or try the new coffee shop. Humans are not above bribery, let's just say that. So that's a tip that I have found useful for myself. Let's talk about what's going to happen during the appointment. So what to actually expect. You're going to walk in, the esthetician will step out, you'll undress completely from the waist down, and you'll lie on that clean table, and it'll have some kind of towel or some kind of sheet on it. Your esthetician may talk you through each section. They're going to apply wax in certain areas, and they're going to remove it. There are 3 positions I typically have clients in, and they can be kind of awkward the first time. So you're going to kind of be in a butterfly position, a leg up, I have them turn to the side sometimes, but that's normal. Again, we do this all day. You're not weird. It's all, we see it all day long, right? The whole appointment takes about 15 to 20 minutes max. After your appointment, the area might feel a little warm. It might feel a little tender. Again, totally normal. After your first Brazilian, again, and this is education-wise, your hair grows in 3 cycles. The growing, the resting, and the shedding phase. The first Brazilian, realistically, your esthetician can probably get about 90 to 95% of the hair. Your second Brazilian will be a little bit more, and your third Brazilian even more than that, right? That first Brazilian, I don't want you guys to walk in and expect a completely clean, smooth surface just because the hairs are still getting used to it. We are trained to not apply wax over certain areas several times, but just know as you continue on, it will become smoother each service. So, after you're done, now that you're smooth and free, here's how you're going to keep it that way. Your downtime is 24 hours. No tight clothing, no baths, no pools, no steamy activities for 24 hours. Those pores are open, so we're trying to avoid any kind of sweat or other things getting in and causing infection. Avoid tight clothing, so again, a light dress or joggers. Let everything kind of breathe itself out. You can exfoliate after 2 to 3 days after your appointment. Use a gentle scrub, a loofah, a body brush, anything that works for you. Doing that 2 to 3 times a week. And be sure you are moisturizing daily with some kind of fragrance-free, a calming lotion. I know at my spa we carry specifically fur oil, and that is designed for that specific area. Y'all, it's gold. I totally recommend it. Stick to this routine, and your skin is going to love you. So that first wax, it can feel intimidating, but with the right esthetician and your prepared mindset, it can totally be empowering. You're not just booking a wax. You're making a self-care decision that takes courage. And when in doubt, you get a coffee at the end. Buy the smoothie. Schedule a nap. Whatever your treat looks like, you've earned it. And that's it for this episode of Beauty Y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Be kind to yourself and even kinder to your skin. I'll see you next time.